Okay, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Beautiful. All right. So we're going to start it right away. And as we all know, um, the focus of this webinar is generative AI for business analysts. The goal is to really see how we can all thrive as business analysts in 2025 and beyond. Please, if you turned on your mic, please would appreciate it if you could mute. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so let's continue. So we have, like we said, we're going to be looking at generative AI for business analysts and how every business analyst can thrive in 2025 and beyond. Those are some of the things that we're going to be walking through and addressing. Okay. So like I said, if you are just coming, all right, hopping on the call, let us know your name, where you're calling from, and your expectations. We'd like to see it. Okay? Even though I'm blind now, I can't really see, but I can toggle back and forth. Check. Okay. So quickly, these are some of the things that we captured during the course of this session. And we're going to be looking at who a business analyst is, some AI tools that business analysts would actually look out for. And also, we look at a very critical business case, just to give us an end-to-end of what it looks like, just in mini one, just to give us a sense of what using AI tools would look like for a business analyst. And finally, we'll look at success stories and next steps. Okay. So right away, we're looking at the first session about business. So who are we? Essentially, we are a tech upscaling company. Our focus is to unlock global career opportunities amongst individuals, right, across the globe. But we are targeted very much more on Africans and those of African descent. Okay, we are committed to empowering about 100,000 talents before 2030. Okay. So some of the things that we offer currently include career-focused programs, as you later come to find or see, and we also offering executive short courses. Okay, those are most of the offerings that we have. Right. So next up, we are going to be looking at a quick introduction to our session, and will be presented quickly with who is this webinar for? Who is this webinar for? So first things first, we want to identify that the fact that this webinar is for anyone who is a newbie and aspiring to be a business analyst. Okay, and just starting your journey, and even for those who probably are just starting and just wanting to know who is a BA. I've heard the term before, it sounds interesting. I'd like to know more about this, and if it's something that I could pursue as maybe a future prospect, like a future career pursuit, or something I want to get started with immediately. Okay. Another category of persons are current business analyst professionals. So you've been in the field for years, and you feel like your skills are getting rusty, and you want to be able to see how you can boost your proficiency.
Your skill is getting rusty.
Hello. Like I said before, please, once you hop in on the call, mute your mics. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Okay. So like I said, for current BAs, that's those who just started their career in business, who have been business analysts for a bit of time, and they notice that it seems like their skill sets are beginning to get rusty, and they would like to sharpen it, especially with the recent rise in AI and how they're looking for ways in which they can leverage AI to accelerate their career growth. So the third category of persons are cross-functional professionals. This could be professionals that tend to interact with a BA on a daily basis, like product managers, operations, people within the operations space and the data space, who just really want to understand how generative AI is going to shape the whole realm of analytics, right? So basically, these are who this webinar is for. And if you fall under the category of the newbies, you have no clue as to not enough clue as to who a BA is, but you'd like to explore, right? Just type one in the comments. If you fall under category one, type one. If you fall under category two, just type two. Before we move on to the next, if you fall under category three, you are neither, you don't have any, but you are somewhat related to, you work around or relate with BAs, and so or things related to data, things related to product management and even operations, and so you'd like to just whet your appetite with some up-to-date knowledge. So if you belong to category one, type out one in the comment. If you belong to category two, type out two. Category three, type out three. I like to see them spilling it. Please, we need feedbacks. We need feedbacks before we move on. We have a long way to go. Beautiful one. Okay. New to AI. Sorry, new to BA, not AI. You can already tell I'm pumped for the AI part. All right. So just one. We'll be expecting every one of us to make our comments. Okay. So moving on to the next, while we wait for your comments, the next question we would like to quickly ask is, why is this topic important? Why is this webinar, why does it matter? Number one reason this whole webinar, we have to come up with this webinar is because, number one, we are beginning to notice that there are lots of threats to jobs, and almost everybody can feel the tension. And this does not matter whether you're a PA or not. This has to do with almost every role, especially tech roles. Almost every role, they are all beginning to face the heat. In a very recent report, it was noted that by Goldman Sachs that about 300 million full-time jobs globally, okay, would be automated. Their jobs or their tasks will easily be automated by generative AI. Okay, equivalent to 300 million full-time jobs globally. You can imagine that. And by the way, these 300 million jobs is about a quarter of all the jobs in the US and Europe. You can imagine how many people would have to suffer for the loss, just because we are beginning to experience a shift or a change in tide, or a change in times with the emergence of AI. You can begin to imagine that. Okay, so this is one of the major reasons. There was even another report by WEF, World Economic Forum, in 2023, where they projected that about 63 million jobs will be created at the same time by 2027, whilst on the other hand, 83 million existing jobs will be eliminated. Okay, so 63 million new jobs and 83 million jobs will be wiped out. So 63 will be created, 69 will be created, 83 will be wiped out. That already shows you some form of disparity. However, this was in 2023. So currently, there have been some modern reports that have been saying that there are much more opportunities, okay, that are going to be created with AI, and you want to hop on that train. All right. So the next reason quickly is that we're beginning to also notice a widening skill gap, meaning that we are having several professionals, business professionals, business leaders, professionals of every sort, who are unable to carry out certain tasks, because most companies currently are now beginning to venture into stuff related to AI. So imagine you were hired as a business analyst to on board for a project that has to do with managing AI, and you've never even used AI before. You've never even interacted with AI even as a business analyst. How much more managing an AI-based project? So a report by Pluralsight reveals that 65% of organizations had to abandon their AI projects due to a lack of skilled talent. So we're going to notice massive skill gaps. Okay. In addition to this, in 2025, Microsoft came up with a report that found out that 92% of business leaders are considering creating new AI-focused positions. So you see the huge opportunity that is going to be created due to AI. However, there are very few persons who are equipped with the skill set and the tools required for them to succeed, excel, and thrive. So there's a rising demand. However, we are having very few persons who have been able to hop on that train to quickly learn the skills that they need to excel in whatever role. It's not just whether you're a BA or not, in whatever role. Okay. So the market is no longer looking for a BA for, because this our topic is centered around BAs. It's important for you to note that the market is no longer looking for just an ordinary BA. Even though we also know that there's a rise in BA roles. However, we are beginning to already notice, as you later come to find, that the market is no longer just looking for just any BA, but the market is looking for efficient BAs. And who is an efficient BA? An efficient BA is a person, is a BA who is proficient in AI. You want a BA who is able to execute fast, deliver fast, but with new levels of accuracy. That's one of the best ways to put it. Yeah, new levels of accuracy. That you are accurate in your delivery, or you are delivering very fast. Right? So those who lack these skills are already being left behind. We are not saying that you are going to be. The obvious fact is that you're already being left behind. Okay? The third reason is that there's a demand for AI savvy professionals is exploding. We already mentioned that. Glasgow mentions this is even very, very critical point to note that new roles are emerging. We are not just talking about new jobs, right? New job opportunities. We are talking about roles, completely new roles that we have never heard before, but some of them sound like what we've heard, but merged with AI. So an example of such role is an AI business analyst. If you check Google it and you check, you see that it's beginning to become one of the most searched keywords. However, most of the roles that are beginning to come are just propping up. I remember one role I was searching for some while ago, relating to AI, because I'm really immersed in the AI space. I'm an AI professional. All right, so I was searching for some job roles just to see if they began to see hires, like people have started hiring for such roles. I found out that on LinkedIn, could barely find. A week later, I came back to check. The search for such roles began to explode. A week later, so sometimes the time gap between not being ready versus you're being ready for some of these emerging roles could just be a week's interval, 1 week interval, which is why there's a level of urgency behind getting started quickly and hopping on these skills and getting what you need to know so that you are one of the very few persons that many employers will be able to consider it for these roles. Okay. So now straight to the discourse for this session. Who is a BA? In simple terms, for those of us who are completely new, in simple terms, a BA is someone who helps organizations solve problems and make better decisions by connecting by identifying business needs and connecting these business needs with the right technology that will be needed to deliver them. All right. So there's a interaction between the business needs and technologies. Business needs and technologies. All right. Interaction between the business need and technologies. So in simple terms, a BA is really like a bridge builder. It's like a person who fills a gap between interacting with business needs, meaning that the business has a challenge or a problem and they require it to be solved. The BA comes in and tells them, identifies the need, digs deeper into it, and if the need requires using technology, they interact with the technology team, and the balance of interacting with those who are in the business side versus those who are on the tech side, right? So for a BA, the BA does not just ask what the stakeholders, you see who a stakeholder is now, okay? What the stakeholder wants. Rather, they ask, they uncover why, they ask why, okay? So they keep asking why to uncover the root cause of what the issue really is, all right, before they begin. We'll see more clarity, we'll get more clarity on this as we progress, all right? So who is the stakeholder? The stakeholder is anyone who is interested in or affected by any new thing that a business or an organization is into or wants to achieve. Any new thing, any person who is interested, the way I like putting it is anyone who is interested or invested, okay, in any change or solution that a company or an organization is looking to implement. To further make this clearer, we've used a quick analogy. Okay, we've used the analogy of a restaurant. So you have a customer, you have a chef, and you have the waiter, or who we call a menu translator. Okay. In this context, for a BA, the BA is like the waiter. So a customer comes into the restaurant, and they sit on the table and they get the menu, and immediately a waiter goes there waiting on them to get to know what they want. And after they've listened carefully to the customer, then they take their order and go straight to the chef in this case, okay, who would be and communicate the needs of this customer to the chef, and then the chef delivers on it. So who is it? In the case of a business scenario, who is a customer? A customer includes stakeholders, people who initiated or who had the idea of initiating such change or developing such solutions, okay? And those who will be affected by it, like the end users, all right? The stakeholders will involve like the CEO of the company, depending on the problem exactly they are wanting to resolve, the head of finance, the head of logistics, etc. Okay, whoever, some of those top ranking persons. So those are the customers. The chef, on the other hand, will be our developers, the more technical guys. So our developers, the product managers, solution architects, the IT guys, etc. Okay, they make up the chef. They are the ones that would come up with the food. In this case, that will be used to serve the customer. Hope it's clear so far. Before I move on to the next, I hope it's clear so far. It's clear. You'll say clear before we proceed. It's clear. Say clear. Clear, clear, clear. Let's get some response quickly. Clear before we get to the practical session soon. So clear. Is any person on this call? Is anyone on this call? So please state clear on the comments.
Yes.
If you can hear me. Okay, on the comments, clear, clear, clear. Awesome. All right, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. So let's go. Let's go quickly. Awesome. So the waiter is our BA. The BA, like I just illustrated, listens to the customer, goes back to ask the chef to implement that. If they're having issues while they are preparing that, it comes back to the customer to give the customer an update. In this case, the stakeholder the update of okay, so this is what is happening. I know the thing is getting is slow in terms of implementation of such a solution. Please, can you just be patient? These are some of the things that are happening behind the scenes that you can't see. Just so, are you following? So that's exactly what the DA does, right? Beautiful, beautiful. So some quick examples, and I'll rush through these examples so that we can get to the practical. So a company that wants to reduce customer complaints, for example, the DA studies the complaints, identifies what the real issues are, and then they interact with the tech team to be able to come up with a solution. Right? An example of such solution that it could come up with could be a new tracking system or a process improvement to improve the process that is probably frustrating the customer. Okay, so that's a very clear example. Another example is a retail example. Okay, you have a retailer who wants to boost, let's say, a retail company for Jumia for those of us here in Africa, Costco, and several other retail companies that you might want to think of. So they want to boost their online sales. So how they go about doing that? A BA comes, the hire a BA, the BA comes, gathers the insights from the customers, analyzes the data, translates these needs into system requirements, into meaning clear requirements, clear items that the tech team will be able to understand. So they take the needs, translate it into clear needs that the tech team will be able to understand. And if it's something that requires tech, they boost it. If it's something that requires marketing, they forward it to those who are in marketing so that those who are in marketing understand what exactly is required of them. All right. So whatever the scenario is, they are the ones that help to orchestrate the entire process from start to finish. Okay. All right. I'm sure with those few examples, we can then go to the next core responsibilities. So what does a BA do? What does a business analyst do? And this is very important for the task we're about to start working on. For the task that we're about to start working on, we have very short time for that. So let's see how we can achieve this in less than 30 minutes time. All right. So a BA gathers requirements. Requirements are what the customer, in this case, our stakeholders and the end users, what they are struggling with, what they need help with. Okay. So it gathers those requirements. That's what we call requirements, the needs. Gathers them, tries to understand what they need. Next thing it does is that it tries to translate those needs to clear business goals, specific business goals, right? And so it takes those business goals and also communicates those business goals in technical terms to the technical team. So takes it, translates the needs to clear business goals, and then takes it back to the tech guys to give them clear instructions on what they need to do to achieve those business goals. The tech people just know their tech. They don't know stuff related to business stuff, right? The business goals and all of those things. So it's the BA's responsibility to make those goals very, very clear for them. Just unfortunate that we don't have so many examples to give here. Hopefully when you join some of our classes, you get some of those examples. So let's go. Facilitating communication. One of the major things, if you've ever managed any project, because a BE is almost like a project manager in a sense. If you've ever managed any project, you'll notice that one of the major challenges is communication amongst people. So the goal of the BA is also to facilitate communication. Next, they also support decisions with data. They don't make any decision unless it is backed with data. Okay, that is where they now begin to look a bit like data analysts, though they are not heavy with data analytics like a data analyst is. Lastly, ensuring value. So at the end of the day, you want to be able to deliver something that makes sense for the business and helps to improve the business. Okay, at the end of the day. So that's a quick one on what a BA does. If we're following so far, please just give a thumbs up. We are entering the practical section now. We are entering the practical section now. If it's clear so far, just give thumbs up, or use your favorite emoji. Excellent, excellent. Caleb gave us 2 thumbs up, so he's really he's really pumped. All right. Okay. So challenges. So what are the major challenges that BAs face? It's critical to identify this because it is only after we've identified the challenges we'll be able to know how to use AI to solve them. Some of the key major challenges, as we are highlighted here, documentation and reporting, 32% of their time. This will take hours of their time, lots and lots of, and this is not, we're not the ones saying this, it's the International Institute of Business Analysts, right? That or analytics like saying this, right? They saw the release. So they're simply just putting out there what they mentioned. So 32% of the time consumed with documentation and reporting. Data cleaning and preparation, heavy amount of time, 62%. Very tedious. Even a data analyst knows this. Even a data scientist knows this. That is heavy duty work. That's what we are dealing with data cleaning and preparation. Stakeholder communication, also a very critical one. 20% of time, and it scores a lot of efforts. And lastly, customer feedback analysis also takes lots of time. Okay, because the customer see at this point what is really happening in customer feedback analysis is that the BA is extracting insights from lots of text and sometimes lots of data, and it can be very labor intensive, right? Very, very tedious. So even this 15% that we are seeing as 15%, it takes a lot of time. All right. Okay, so quickly, now we've seen some of those challenges. Let's now begin to see some tools. And by the way, some of the challenges that we're going to solve, let me just quickly mention. One of the major challenges we're going to be solving is data cleaning and preparation. Data cleaning and preparation. And also a part of some of the things that will be captured under reporting. Yeah, under reporting. To capture some of these two things in this class. All right. So we are getting started right away. So we are trying to tackle the top two for this session. If you want to get to know more, we'll talk about that as we end this session. That we are offering that in one of our programs, by the way, so that you get to know. All right. So quickly, some AI tools for business analysts. We characterize them or group them into two. Generic AI tools and BA specific AI tools. Generic AI tools and BA specific AI tools. It's very good that you know these things and they are becoming handy, that you are skilled in this area, right? Very, very skilled in both. So none is obviously BA specific means that you have to have already become a professional BA to be able to interact with some of these tools. But you don't need such for these ones, for some of these ones. Okay? All right. I hope it's clear. It's clear so far as we progress to the next. Thumbs up. Want to start our business case? Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Let's get them coming. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Some persons are not even giving, they're not even reacting, not even making any comments. They are almost frustrating me on this call. Please don't frustrate me. All right, guys. Let's continue quickly. Okay, so beautiful. So I finally see somebody that has not given any thumbs up since. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. All right, so let's go on with the use case. So it's always good to start with the business case so that you get the context of what we are dealing with. All right. In this case, we are going to be optimizing product inventory and marketing. Okay. Specifically for sale. Okay. So what we want to do is to run a quick scenario. In this scenario, we are looking at a tech retail company called Optitude Co. And they want to be able to increase their profits and run operations more efficiently. Some of the products sell well, but management, that's the top, like people at the top, management does not have a clear strategy to decide. That is where our BA now comes, right? Our BA is then summoned. So they want to be able to decide certain things, but they can't arrive at any decision. What are the things? Which products to stock more? How many discounts affect sales? Which regions need more marketing focus? And finally, where pricing data might be inconsistent. Okay, where pricing data might be inconsistent. So the VA's job is to use a certain data that was given to the VA, and we are the VAs at this point. Okay, the customer sales data to find answers and give recommendations to some of these things. So we're just using this as a quick mock-up for us to be able to work on something. So generally speaking, the first step, a typical BA. So we're looking at what a manual BA would typically do. A BA using the manual process will meet stakeholders to confirm the scope. And by the way, let me say this quickly, that in this way, it is not going to be it is not just a thing for manual BAs. So you begin to see how, even though AI is beginning to emerge, there are still some things AI can't completely achieve when we are talking about the BA's role. For example, at this point, though we have some AI that can achieve this, but they still are far away from being able to handle stakeholders meeting. All right. So meet with stakeholders, get scope and all of such. However, you can make use of some AI tools that you can partner with some AI tools to be able to help you accelerate your process of interacting with stakeholders. Typically, for a BA before, you have to be documenting everything that is being said, writing everything that is being said, take notes in details. You have to be almost be like a secretary while you are listening to, right? But in this day and time, a futuristic BA or AI skill BA does not need to do that. All they need to do are to interact with some of these tools. We may not be looking at some of these tools due to the sake of our time, but you can check them up. That they are used when you're hopping on calls with stakeholders or with customers or clients. As you hop on calls with them, we even had one that we could have added to this call just to show you. The one we use is with AI. Okay, that way you don't need to write down everything. Just listen, pay attention, take note of the most important ones that you need to take note of. If you forget anything that the stakeholder has said, simply go back to some of these AI tools. They've recorded everything in detail, everything, so you can get a quick draft of everything that was mentioned in detail, and you can get a summary of everything also. All right, so you can interact with these tools and check them out for yourself. Okay, for yourself. I'll share some of the links on the call right away as we go to the next. Okay. So the next step, typically, for every BA, just a minute, let me share the link with us. So the next step, typically for every BA, manual, current, ongoing BA, every BA that we know today, the next step will be to collect all of the data needed that they need. In our case, we have just one data. But in a real case scenario, it's not one, from many sources. All right, they will collect it and start preparing. And preparing could take hours. Believe me, it could take hours and hours of their time. All right. So just a minute, let me copy the link for these, for the ones we just showed you guys. That's for the ones with which you can engage with stakeholders. Okay. You can quickly just have that. Share it with us now on the phone. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. So you can check out those links and see how you can use them on calls to record calls. And okay. So this is what a PA will typically do. They will clean the data, find if it's inconsistencies. For example, if they have 1,000, even though we know like Excel and Google Sheet, they've automated a number of things, but however, it still takes a lot of work. Identify things that are missing data, identify gaps, for example, in some text that where you have some text that require fixing, you'll have to fix and work on them. Okay. So like trimming both sides and inconsistent price, so many issues. I don't even be able to, there will be no time to even go into them. So many issues. And at the end of the day, they'll not start doing calculations on calculating. These days, you don't need an AI for that. You don't need rather waste most of your efforts doing that. Right? You can simply do and work with an AI to achieve this. So the first prompt we'll be going to Claude, but by now the data that we'll be working with should have been given to you. I'll just show us what the data quickly looks like before we get on with the business for this night, this evening, or afternoon, or morning, depending on where you are calling us from. All right, I'll just quickly share my screen again and show you what the data looks like. Just a minute. Okay. So before we pass in our prompts, I think someone will be dropping the prompts for us on the group one after the other as we go along. So take note of the prompts. You can use them after the session. So straight to the next, just to show us what the data we are working with looks like. So can you see my screen? All right, beautiful, beautiful. So this is what the data looks like. Okay, We are working with a data set. By the way, we intentionally have to look for a dirty data set, a dirty, extremely dirty data set, so that we'll see if AI will be able to work on it. Okay, so we have order ID as a column, date, the order was made. Customer ID means the unique ID of every customer. The customer themselves, their names, customer who made the order and the purchase, the item they purchased. Let me zoom in a bit, okay, for clarity. So the order, so the category of the item that was purchased, the category that item belongs, the number of items they purchased, that's the quantity, the price, meaning the amount. If there was a discount, the discount, then what was the code? If there was no discount, it means that it's going to be okay. And then we have location where it was purchased from. Okay. So this is exactly what it looks like. I intentionally made some errors or some kept the data dirty. Okay, so that it can sort out some of these things. For example, you can see some missing order ID here, and so on. The data is already sent, so you'll see some of them there. Okay, you'll see some of them there. All right, so let's go back to our slide. So what you'll do now, quickly, what we'll all do now is to go to Claude. The link for Claude will also be sent to us. So what I'll do now is I'll go to Claude. Let me share my screen and show you what that looks like here. Okay, so you go to Claude.ai, Claude.ai. You register for those of us who are not already registered. Okay, powerful stuff. For those of us who already know Claude.ai, you can give me a thumbs up to indicate that you've used these tools before. All right. So Claude.ai, you can use that there for cleaning up the data. However, let me just quickly hint you that Claude.ai, as you soon see, is not so proficient with, in fact, most of the AI tools are not so proficient with cleaning data. As advanced as AI is currently, most of them are not so proficient in cleaning data. So the best some of them will do is that when they notice any issue with some of the rules, they will just delete it. They will just delete it. They will just remove it. They don't want trouble, no stress at all. All right? Rather than stress themselves, they just delete it. So that's exactly what they do. So for us right here, I know you're putting in our prompts on Claude just to show you that it really does not help with that. Okay, and then you can upload your data. I'll go quickly to upload the data. I've given it my prompt. I'll go there quickly to upload my data. Where are you? Where are you? Okay. It was some interesting reasons after my data. So let me just drag it and put it there. All right, I can drag it and put it right there. Okay, it's telling me it does not support XSL. So this is a challenge if you are using Claude for the very first time. Okay, that's what we noticed. That's a challenge if you're using Claude for the very first time. So let me share with you a case scenario that I used where I used it in my own personal account. Just a minute. I'll share that with you. Uploaded it, and then I asked it a number of questions. Okay, let me share that with you quickly. As we progress. Let me share my screen. All right. So you can see my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen? Thumbs up if you can. All right, awesome. So no, it's not where I was supposed to be. Let me go back to my charts. Okay, clean the data, exactly. Awesome. So this was exactly where I was supposed to be. All right. And so what we did was that we uploaded it. If you notice it entered, if you are creating Claude for the very first time, signing up, it it may not work, but you have to wait for a bit of time and then it works. So you upload it. After uploading it, then you put it in the prompt. Once you put in the prompt, it will start generating and working on something. It's something called artifact. It displays what has been done for you on this side of the okay, it's loading and it's loading. Oh my, that started misbehaving. All right, so I'll edit it again and try it. I'll just add some few dots and try it again. All right, and see if it works. Beautiful. So while that is working, you later come to find out that, like I said, that it really does not do a good work in cleaning the data. It really doesn't do a good work in cleaning the data. However, there is another tool that we could use that will do justice to that. And how that works is, okay, I'll move to the next now to show us what that looks like. While we are waiting for this, this doesn't usually take time. Okay, but while we're waiting for this, would I'll just mention this in passing. So because we don't have so much time on the call. So quadratic, you can check quadratic. I'll share my screen here now so that you see where I am. Quadratic can help you with, it does a very good work in cleaning your data. Okay. For more, you're having a program, just to mention again, having a program coming up soon, you don't want to miss it. Okay. All right. Just a minute. Let me share. Where was I? All right. So to share my screen yet again, just to show you what quadratic looks like. Okay. And it's pretty straightforward too. It's pretty straightforward. Can you all see my screen? Can you all see it now? Thumbs up if you can. All right. So beautiful. Beautiful. So you pass in your data. In my case, I'll pass in my data quickly and ask it, pass in the prompt and press go. Once you do this, you'll have to sign up. Right? You'll have to sign up. But once you are done signing up, you should notice something like this. Once you are done signing up, you should observe or notice something like this. I know I'm going a lot of back and forth with my tabs, but it's necessary, very necessary for us to be able to see what it looks like. So you see something like this, okay? And what it would have done is that it has cleaned your data. See, listen, if it's only this we showed you guys this night, or this evening, we accomplished a lot. Anyone who does data analytics or a BA will tell you how difficult it is, how much time it also takes to clean the data. So once you've done that, you'll notice an interface like this, you've signed up, and you'll see the place where we passed that point. It will tell you how it was able to accomplish it. All of the things that it has done. It will tell you that it fixed the items, it will tell you the items it's fixed, okay, standardized the categories, corrected the price formats, handled missing values, added new columns, date formatting, etc. To tell you all of the things that it has accomplished. And just at the side here, you will now see the data it has cleaned. It will highlight it for you like this. And to download it, because it's very important. After you've cleaned the data, what do you then? You download it. You right click on it, okay, and you see download as CSV. Once you see that, you are done with your cleaning. This takes hours, believe me. I've been a data scientist, so I know what I'm talking about. It takes hours to do. So we are going on to the next. All right. Once you have your cleaned data, you can then upload your clean data to take the next action. So we are going to the next quickly to show you what the next step looks like. Hope you are following so far. If you are following, please indicate with your favorite emoji. Because as I'm here, I'm having so much fun. I don't know if you are. Okay? I don't know if you are. Let me see if Claude has come back to its senses. Okay. But the idea behind what I was going to show you with Claude was to tell you that it cannot clean the data. That was just the idea, the rationale. Really, it cannot clean it. Okay. It will try its best, but it can't. So it's still acting up. So we'll just go straight to where we were and we'll share our screens quickly. All right. So back to the where we were. So we've cleaned our data and we can now go to the next step. Okay, performing analysis. So these are the long steps that a normal PA on average PA would have to take. Build pivot tables, compare the different columns, try to identify anomalies in the pricing and all of the various columns that are very important to focus on. And by the way, we did capture that here, how to identify the important columns, because it will take much of our time. That's what we talk about KPIs, all right? So it guides us in developing our presentation, rather our analysis. All right. So lastly, then you now begin to segment parts that they need to segment to get the top, in this case, the top repeat customers. Okay. So they carry out the performance analysis and usually takes time. However, for a soft, I would actually to call it this BA, soft BA. I already learned after AI. You just need to find the right AI tool. No stress, right? And take this prompt. This prompt will also be sent and forwarded to us. Take this prompt and pass it into any of the AI tools that we have readily available. Okay? And in our own case, we can choose to use ChatGPT. We can choose to use Claude. We can choose to use Gemini, whichever. All right? So what I will do is I'll take my clean data. I'll go to ChatGPT here. I'll choose to go to ChatGPT at this point. Just a minute. Stop sharing here. Hi. I'll move over to ChatGPT. Okay, I think the last time I checked, even I've exhausted my ChatGPT's options. So let me use my personal ChatGPT then. Okay. ChatGPT. All right. Okay. So I'll share my screen anytime from now so that you see where I am. All right, let's go. So for that of this prompt, I'm sure you can see my screen. Okay, so the prompt should be sent to us anytime soon. With the clean data, we'll send you the clean data also. If you're able to stay to the end of the call, we'll send you the clean data. Okay. All right. So quickly. All right. We'll take it. I click over here, add my cleaned data, put it there. Okay, this one is not even a clean one. Let me check because I tried cleaning several. All right. All right, data cleaning, what's called data cleaning. So put that there. While it's loading, you put in so I have a sales data, please analyze it. Show me the product categories that are selling the most. You remember that these product categories that are selling the most is part of what the management were requesting to see, okay? So we've already started working on it, compare sales, etc. Check if there are unusual inconsistent prices, and then present the result in simple tables. Claude would have been beautiful for this, but Claude is misbehaving at this point. Claude would have been very beautiful for this. So wait to see what that looks like while it's analyzing that. That's what it did. Oh, beautiful. Okay, beautiful. So over here we see that it mentions that the top said I've analyzed your sales and results is in simple tables. So it's asking me, would I like to see visual charts? So it's already proposing visual charts. All right, it's already proposing visual charts. So before we even look at that of the visual charts, okay, let's just do that of the visual charts while we wait for that, okay? So that we see what that looks like. Yes, please. I'll tell you, yes, please. All right. Yes, let's go. Okay, so it will give me something in bar chart, and we'll just be able to see what some of those ones look like. It will take a bit of time while it's doing that. So in the interim, we'll come back to check some of those things. You could tell we are hurrying because there is no time. Oh, beautiful. It has come up with it. Can you see each of them? Saves us time. And with just one prompt, we have exhausted all our free usage. All right. So, and it tells us, gives us a breakdown that the top 10 products by revenue, top category overall, with and without discount sales, top 10 customers by revenue. So we see all of this stated clearly here. Okay. And you can later on, if we maybe in our session when you pop on our calls with us and you join our program, we'll show you how to tweak some of these things so that you get the kind of colors you want, so just a tweak and generate more powerful prompts. Like the prompts we are giving are just weak, are very weak and not so strong. But when you join our program, we'll walk you through how to generate powerful prompts so that you'll be able to address. So we've addressed this. Okay? We've addressed this problem. So we're going back to the next, sharing our screen now, going back to the next. So for the next, we are being told to find out quickly. We are being told to create insights. And by the way, we've already started creating insights, right? With our visualizations. We've already started. Okay. And so this is the prompt. Based on the sales data analysis, give me 5 clear business insights. So we'll do that quickly. I'll use ChatGPT too. But you can use other tools, other generic tools like we had shown. Okay. You can use some of them. So I'll go back to ChatGPT and I'll ask ChatGPT to do that for me. Hope we are following so far. You're following, indicate. Oh, somebody saying this is amazing. I'm not even following the charts. Okay. Says this is amazing, beautiful, beautiful. I'm very excited with what you have said. If we end here, we've tried. If you think that if we end here at this point, we've tried. All right, well, let's go on. Let's go on. Let's go on. Let's go on quickly. There is more to amaze you. Somebody says amazing. I can assure you there are more amazing things to amaze you with. So let's go on quickly. So we take that prompt, and I think that prompt will be sent to us too. All right, to be given to us next. So we take that prompt, and the next thing we want to do is that we want to quickly, beautiful, we want to quickly check. I'm tempted to almost go back to Claude again. Let me just share my screen. I think it will be easier and better for me rather than moving back and forth. Let me share my entire screen. Okay. All right. Okay. So this clause has been misbehaving. I'll come back and create a new chart. So what I want to do now is let me go back to ChatGPT. I'll use ChatGPT, pass the prompt there, and I'll also try using Claude. All right. I'll go to Claude, put in my clean data. Claude should be able to accept my clean data. It should be able to see it, beautiful, and address it. All right. So based on the following, generate stuff for us. Okay, let's just hope we've not exhausted everything. Okay, we'll wait for that. Let's go back to ChatGPT. So ChatGPT tells us that the best-selling products and categories, say a few items like tablets, smartwatches, bring in most of our revenue, of your revenue. Accessories such as keyboards also contribute, but at a smaller scale. If you wanted to know at what scale, you can then prompt it and ask. I see that. Category, you can just go through the whole thing for the sake of time. Okay? So it will even give us 3 action steps right away. And we can say yes, and it gives us the action steps. And these action steps will now constitute the recommendations that we will then now show to management. Right? To management. Okay? So let's see beautiful. Oh wow, what's this? So it's having some error again. There's something wrong with Claude. All right, so we've seen this. I want to go back to our slide. Okay. So for our slide, we've done this. We've seen 5 clear business insights. All right. So the next thing typically would be to, let me expand, would be to um, then deliver some visualizations. If you notice, we've already started working on visualizations and also create a summary report. All right, with recommendation. That was what ChatGPT was already saying that it was going to give to us. So we'll go over here and tell ChatGPT, for the AI people, we'll tell ChatGPT, give us this form of so key findings of products, discounts, location, customer pricing, etc. 5 to 6, this is one of the most important, 5 to 6 actionable recommendations for the next 90 days that the organization will be busy working on. A suggestion of 5 slide tiles, sorry, titles with bullet points to present. So in this case, ChatGPT may not be able to draft out the presentation slide and all of that, but there is a tool that can help you achieve this stuff. So I'll do this with ChatGPT and then I'll show us a tool that can help achieve this stuff. All right. So we'll also show you the prompts quickly. Stop sharing because I can't copy easily like that. All right. So to copy the prompt, I have to close it out quickly. All right. And then copy the prompt from where I have there, and voila. All right. Beautiful. So let me share my screen here now and show you the tool that can help us achieve this. Okay. So it's called the bricks. All right, the bricks. We'll show you what that looks like. I'll send you the link. Okay. Okay. We'll send you the link right away. All right. So for the bricks, you don't even need to put any prompts. Just import what you need to import, and it does its magic. All right. Just import your file. It generates the entire report for you. That's how straightforward it is. No stress, no headache. Okay, and I'll show us a complete work. Let me just upload one of such here and show us how it looks like when it starts working. And then I'll show us the finished work because we do not have enough time on our hands. So immediately you put it in, it starts working. It is planning the layout and the blocks, creating the blocks, generating insights, generating summary. Are we? If you are not wowed by this one, I'll be wowed for you that you are not wowed. Finalizing the dashboard, all right, generating something. Okay, so this usually takes a while, but if a PA were to work on this themselves, oh my god, sometimes it will take this. No exaggeration, it will typically take this. Okay, typically take this. So I want to share on my screen again and take that same prompt, to the ChatGPT we've been working with, and show us what ChatGPT will give to us. Because we said before that ChatGPT will not typically show us. So let me share my entire screen. ChatGPT will not give us the presentation slides and everything, but it will just give us an idea, the text, because that's the best thing ChatGPT can do. So just a minute. Let's go here. Awesome. So I'll put the prompt here, and ChatGPT will help with that. So with the text, if you now want to be creative on your own to start working on things, beautiful and fine. Beautiful and fine. So before this class, this was what I did. I tried working on something. I don't know if it was done, but let's see. On the bricks, okay? So it's loading. Should have been off since because I've not left here. We are almost coming to an end. Just be patient. Just be patient. Just be patient. So let's check pages. So clean data, dashboard. This was the one I did before. Okay. It's taking a bit of time. Okay, beautiful. So we have our dashboard data. Okay, and let me take this in so that I see what that looks like. The dashboard photo have been done. All right, but let's see. But ideally, once you are done, you can just see all of the dashboard data that it was able to come up with. The KPI table, it came up with KPIs by itself, category performance, top customers. It broke every of these things down all by itself, all by itself, all by itself. Okay, it cleaned the data. Sorry, we had that. Sorry, this was our sales data that we gave to it and all of that. Okay. Um, back to so ideally, all right, just a minute. Let me confirm this quickly. All right. So dashboards, what's happening? We have to have our dashboard with the reports. Okay. All right. Let me just go back to where we had it loaded, so that once we see that will be good. Good. So typically, it begins to. I'm sure it was because I left it. It begins to generate all the dashboard. I don't know why that dashboard we couldn't see the dashboard. Beautiful. You can see what I'm talking about, right? It begins to generate every one of them one after the other on the dashboard page. You can see every one of it, right? This is almost exactly equivalent to what a professional BA will be able to accomplish or achieve. Okay? And all of these things could not be fed, you would not be used for a report at the end of the day. You wait a bit to see the whole thing. So I'll leave us to interact with this when we get back to our presentation as we wrap up. Somebody said, wow. Like I said, if you're not wowed, I will be wowed, but you're not being wowed. Okay, so let's just go back to the presentation and then we'll call it a night. All right, as we wrap up. Can you not hear? All right, just a minute. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. How many of us are already excited with what we have seen so far? Already excited, already excited, already excited. That good boy. Please, you can go back and try these things out. We're giving you all of the data that you need. We'll send you the clean data, all of the things that you need. We'll send them to you. We'll send them to you so that you can try these things out yourself. Beautiful. So we are now to the point where we have some quick Q&A. I don't know if we have time for this, but let's just take a quick number of questions as we wrap up. A quick number of questions. So this, from what we've achieved so far, we've shown you that that with AI and a BA with AI, partnered with AI can achieve like so much. However, even if you are not a BA, you're not a business analyst or a professional in business analytics, you can begin to work your way gradually to understand some of these things, because at some point you may just get lost. You're just using only AI tools, AI tools. They will catch you. they will catch you at one point. So to be able to ensure that you are proficient as a BA, take some training and all of such, all right? All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. So do we have some questions? If you have some questions, please drop them on the comments. All right. But I think we have a number of questions. I think Muiwa, you can just a number of questions to ask.
Yeah. So the first question I have here says that how exactly do you see the BA role evolving vis-a-vis this generative AI thing?
I was muted. So the evolution of generative AI side by side, the BA's role. So how do we see it evolving? Okay, so it's part of one of the things I have captured earlier. I had mentioned that at this current point, at least at the foreseeable future, because AI comes, the tools that come up every day can be very crazy. But to put the BA, for a BA to be on the edge, or the cutting edge of what they are doing, they have to hop on some of these AI tools. So the future, to break down your question, the future, what's the future of business analytics, considering the emergence or the evolution of AI, of generative AI? The future of BA, as I see it, is that generative AI is not going to altogether take away your role. However, if you do not optimize the skill sets, all right, that will enable you to leverage these tools, you may be rendered obsolete, or you may be rendered obsolete or inefficient as a business analyst. All right. So personally, I see it evolving, as I've already captured in the data a while ago, to the point where we will now be having more roles tagged AI business analyst, more than we are even currently seeing just the regular business analyst roles. So we see more AI business analyst roles emerging. So thanks for that question. Any other? Okay.
All right, thank you for that. Yes, there's another question. Oh, okay, go on.
Okay, no, like I was done. I was done with that, with answering that. I don't know if there was, I just want to check here.
Okay, all right. So the second question I have here says that how can somebody who's aspiring to become a BA future-proof his or her career in this age of AI?
So how can you what?
So okay, how can a professional who's just trying to transition into tech, particularly either AI or data analysis, so how can such a person future-proof their career?
Okay, I think it's pretty much already answered that in the last question. So let me say this. You may have been seeing a lot of fear mongers like on the internet, but some of them are justified. When they say that AI is coming to take your role, AI is going to take your jobs, AI is going to take your jobs and all of that. The truth is, AI itself is not going to take your job. It's someone who knows AI, someone who is equipped with AI that will replace you. There was recent news of how some of these top tech companies tried replacing some of their some roles within the company, right? Within their company, and they found out that after, I think IBM was even one of them. After a few weeks of sacking them or relieving them of their jobs, they hired them back. they began to create opportunities for hires, and this is because at this very point, every person in every profession require AI, especially with some of those ones that are really working online and in fact across various industries. You need AI to optimize and to step up your proficiency, right, in whatever capacity that you're doing, whether you're talking about an experienced business analyst, an experienced product manager, whatever it is at all. Right, you need to learn these skills quickly. Like I said, I gave you an example of a role that was almost non-existent on LinkedIn one moment, and the next moment, everywhere, it's seeing it everywhere. And I gave you the challenge. Go and check AI business analyst. You'll not see many of it right now, right? But I tell you, in the next few days, go back and check. You start seeing many roles being put out there, many recruiters hiring such roles. All right. So it's very critical that you position yourself early and take action quickly. All right. I hope I was able to answer that. All right. So for somebody, for example, who is now asking, just assuming that there are no more questions. So for somebody who is now asking, so how can I position myself and how can I take action now? Because it's very important to take action quickly. So we are suggesting that you join our next cohort. Okay. We are going to be offering it's one of our programs, Generative AI for Business Analysts, and we're also going to be offering a different program for entrepreneurs. This is a special bootcamp for, particularly for people who are above their 30s, targeted at people above their 30s. For anyone who is below 30s can also do it, but targeted at people who are above their 30s, who feel like they are missing out on AI, they don't know how to hop in, they don't know. This program is for such persons. For BAs who already have experience, but they are looking to upskill themselves and ensure that they are up to date, this generative AI for business analysts is for you. The duration and discounts, we've discounted it seriously so that everybody is able to hop in. We have your best interest at heart, believe me. We are not just here to make money. Believe me, we are here to ensure that you get the best and you become the best. Okay, so we also offer as a separate program, career readiness program, for persons who are looking to like boost their career proficiency, right, to make themselves prepared and positioned for jobs and roles. Because we also notice that this is a major gap amongst many professionals. So this is like a separate program that we also run. We teach you how to build a portfolio, CV review and revamp, LinkedIn optimization, mentorship, etc. Even UK work reference, because by the way, we are a UK-based company. All right. So, and our certifications are also recognized by UK Royalty, which is UK registered learning providers. Right. Some success stories of persons who have taken some of our programs and are currently working. I don't want to mention all of them, just mention one. Lawrence, who is currently working successfully within the civil service in London, full-time role after working with us or taking one of our trainings. So many other reference letters and offer letters, contracts, and all of that here. And so the reason we are showing you all of these things is to show you that we have proofs back what we are telling you. And if you are interested, you can quickly reach out to us, DM us, reach out to us on the various on WhatsApp, on various whatever means necessary or possible, and we'll be excited to get back to you. If you're very excited already on what you've gotten so far in this class, please indicate. We'll be having more sessions, free sessions like this, just to ensure that you have the best. But if there are no more questions, I'll just at this point call it a night. But if there are questions, please do ask. Please do ask if you have questions. Any questions? Okay. None. Okay, so if you have any questions, DM us. All right, would appreciate it if you DM us, not even hop on this call, like DM us and follow us up on these things. Okay, follow us up on these things. All right. All right, guys. Have a restful night or day, depending on where you are calling from. We will meet again in our next session. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for the applause. Thank you, guys. All right, take care. Take care, everybody. Take care. Okay, all right. We'll drop the attendance form also. Just drop the attendance form. We'll drop. So please fill the attendance form, because we're not dropping it on the group. We can't drop it on the group because almost everybody will fill it on the group. So please fill the attendance form if you haven't. We'll wait on the call quickly for you to do that. All right. Have a restful night, guys.